Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Helenique Argeru. I'm here with Margaret Maduro, a really beautiful new friend. Don't know much about her, but the few times we've met and connected, we see that we have quite a lot in common, both supporting women. But Margaret has actually two different ways that she works, and one is in the Greatness Academy. She calls it My Greatness Academy, where she is the CEO and internationally certified NLP trainer, and she trains professionals, coaches on how to use NLP methods. And then she's also working with women entrepreneurs, helping them get out of this daydreaming state, going to conferences, getting inspired, actually rather teaches them how to come home, really work seriously on that business. And this is where she provides mindset and action coaching. Her name is Margaret Maduro. She's in the Netherlands, and it's so lovely to have you with us today, Margaret. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Eleni. Thank you for having me.
So as it's happened with a few of these ladies, it takes a little bit for us to get connected with busy schedules and being online and all the things that come with running businesses nowadays. We have a lot of challenges, and I also see that you are understanding something is needed at a much deeper level for women to be successful. Tell us a little bit more about your mindset and action coaching and how you also include NLP in the work that you're doing, so that we can get a sense of how you're really helping women come out of that daydreaming, I want to have a business, and into the real hard work of getting it done.
Okay. Now, I started my coaching practice for the female entrepreneurs here in the Netherlands because I saw the need that they had to have an authentic business. And people came to me a lot of time asking me, Margaret, how did you do it? How did you start your own businesses? And how do you cope with being a mother, a wife, every title that we can have and be successful? And I started to coach those women, but they came to me and asked me, what's the plan? What's the process? And how do I write my business plan? But at the core of the problem that they were telling me about, I saw it wasn't a plan. It was their self being authentic. It was their mindset, how they thought about themselves, they thought about their talents, their purpose, and things like that. So I didn't call myself anymore a business coach. I called myself a mindset coach and an action coach, because I wanted to help the women to take the time to be aware of their own mindset and to empower them to believe in themselves and what they can do, and that they have everything, every source they needed inside, and that they can connect with their inner strength. And that's why I started that as a mindset and action coach. And like you said in my introduction about going from conference to conference, I saw a lot of women in all the network programs that I visited, and they get inspired and ready to go and get their dreams. And after a while, I meet them again and they tell me, yes, I thought it was a good idea, but maybe it's too big. I have to start really small. And then I ask them, did you start? Did you take action? No, I didn't take any action. So I saw that that was the problem. And that was the thing I'm very good in, to ask them the good question and give them not only the insight, but to empower them to take the action, to take the small steps so they can get their vision going and get their dreams.
So important, and so great to hear that you also noticed that need in the market and that you can provide that service. And I'm also wondering how you came to be the woman that you are, because I've met a few incredible women in the Netherlands who are, I think, really unique examples, let's say, of solo entrepreneurs, which I see is not very common also in this community. A lot of people are employed and they like the security of employment, and it's quite hard to find the examples, I guess, of women out there that are succeeding and really like passionate enough to keep going, to keep sustaining the business, when it gets challenging and difficult. And definitely meeting you now, I hear that you're even supporting other women to learn to do that. And I'm wondering, what was for you the life-changing moment, or maybe you've had many of these, like many people I know, we go through lots of challenges in life and we realize lots of things through those difficult moments. So can you share with us one of yours, maybe a life-changing moment where you had a breakthrough, you learned something really important about life, and it stayed with you, like your wisdom that you now use?
Yes. I've had a lot of those moments, and I think yes, and I think it started from a very young age
Yeah.
that dealing. Let me take the ages of between 7 and 12 that I had to deal with bullies at school,
Wow.
and that you think I'm powerless. What can I do against what people are saying about me? And my mother always told me, like, don't be bothered about what other people tell you, but be concerned of your own image of yourself, what you think about yourself. And it's very hard to um, maybe understand what I'm telling you now, my mother's message, to at the age of 8. But in my eyes, you're precious. And when you stop hearing, choose to hear what other people say, and just think about, what do I want to think about myself? How do I want to see myself? And that was so powerful. And I, at that time, she um, didn't even know what kind of wisdom she was sharing, because it was a powerless moment for her too. But it was activating the resilience in me, that I knew that I was more than other people are telling me, that I was more than my degrees. And that I always kept that in mind. And all the degrees that I have, all the diplomas, all the titles that I have now, always remember, it's not my power, and my confidence and my greatness doesn't come from external things, doesn't come from compliments of other people. They're nice, but it comes when I'm rooted in who I am and who I want to be. So that's the resilience. So I think resilience is a very important um, gem that we have, that we don't use very often. And when we tap into that, in our resilience, in our intuition, to start listening, be better listener to ourselves, to our intuition, then we will grow more of self-confidence. Because self-confidence is really a inner job. It's not something that you can buy. It's not something that people can give you.
Yeah.
It's just by being persistent, doing the work that you know that you have to do, and taking yourself very seriously. And then you will grow the self-confidence. Then you will be the one that you want to be, no matter what other people think, no matter what failures you may endure in life. Because I see failures like stepping stone, I see them as learning moments, but it's really about resilience and being authentic and stay true to yourself.
So powerful to have had a mother at that moment
Yeah,
to say
yes,
these things to you. And I've just put a post here up on LinkedIn because I think it's powerful. Speaking to you,
yes,
and the words that stay with me is, confidence is an inside job. I think it's such an important message that
yes,
you share, how we do have to work on our own resilience and our strength
yes,
ourselves. And I think a lot of people get very confused about that. I think it's so important to remind women that also we need to listen more to our own thoughts about ourselves and work on that than what others are
yes,
saying about us. So bullying was a really important experience for you that helped you realize how important your own self-worth is. And
yes.
you look back at that 8-year-old little girl, knowing what she knows at 8 and knowing what you know now in your life. What kind of advice would you give her?
Mm, just listen to your mother. She's right. She's right. No, that you are great. You are great. Now I have the privilege to be a mother of 3, and that's the message that I want to give them. And every time I want to show them the way, I remind myself that they can find their own way, and they have their own truth, and they are their own unique person, and giving their space, they can grow better instead of showing them the way by telling them what to do or what not to do. And I'm a believer of leading by example.
Mhm.
And that's what I learned a few years ago being a mother, like giving myself the space to grow and be my own unique self, great self, um, empower them to take that space to explore themselves. And it's a really nice journey to see your children go through, and it's a really nice lesson for us as parents, as mentors, to see that when you give enough space and just be there to lead your own unique self journey, you empower others to shine in their own way.
Beautiful.
So
So
yeah,
being connected to to the message of your mother, the
yeah,
truth of what she's sharing with you, that's what you would like your 8-year-old to remember. And even as a mother now, it's something that stayed with you so
yeah,
strongly that it's repeating in your work now with your
yes,
children as well. Beautiful.
yes. No
So,
matter how small you are or how young or how old, you have your own truth, and have the confidence, or let the confidence grow in you to explore that.
right. I just watched a video this morning about a man talking to parents generally as well, saying how it's so important to realize children are not here to behave themselves. They're here to explore the boundaries. And
Yes,
they have to explore who they are in the world, and parents can either facilitate that or stop that. And he
yeah,
was teaching them. So you remind me of it. Nice to hear it repeating again, confirmed. So
yeah.
you really explore who you are as a child. So important.
Yes. And Eleni, now you're telling me about that video. As a parent or as a teacher, no matter what kind of function you have, when you work with children, we often teach the children the boundaries first.
Yes.
And they don't experience the space to explore because we already gave them the boundaries.
Of
But
course.
I think that if it's not a dangerous situation, and not a lot of things are dangerous, we label a lot of things as dangerous for the children, but when we gave them the space that had been given to us, or that we discover later in our years, they will um, they will learn to know their own boundaries,
Of course.
and
Totally.
they will experience it, and it will not be like, oh, my mother just told me or my teacher told me not to do it. They will grow an internal feeling of what is right and
Yeah.
what is wrong, because they are seeing you as an example. So we have to give other people, children or older people, we have to give them more credit.
Absolutely. And I,
Yeah,
I myself come from a culture with very controlling parenting and very critical parenting, and actually worked with kids for 22 years already now in large groups. And I can see their fear to actually express and explore their environment because of the
yeah,
way they've understood adults deal with them and treat them. So they are insecure because they don't have enough experience exploring. And I think it's a crisis for our times. We really have to shift it. So I was very
yeah,
happy to hear that, and even more you confirming it, because to meet more and more people who are not in that fear mindset, or to be with
yeah,
parents that can allow their children to expand in this way is really what I think ends up helping them become very confident adults, and
yeah,
not always confident, but able to deal with all the challenging things, because there are so many places where we need to learn to stop ourselves and not wait for
yeah,
others to tell us to stop us.
yeah,
So important and beautiful to hear that you had a mother that was so anchoring for
yeah.
you in that, and that you got the chance to explore, and that now you're offering it, because the more of that we get, the more I think our community is going to thrive. So
You're right. Yes.
in the Netherlands, here with you growing up, I'm assuming you grew up here and you saw a lot of things happening in society around you, and of course you have your own cultural ethnicity. and in that group you have also different things happening. So what would you say is your experience and your insights as a woman in the world looking at women? This question is really about the ways that women deceive themselves. And we go into discussion sometimes about how we are also deceived by the programs in society and the way we are limited and have all this kind of confusion around what we can and can't do. So my question to you is, what is the biggest lie that women believe, and what do you think is the truth?
The biggest lie. We tell ourselves a bunch of lies.
I know.
But
You can rattle them off to me if you like. I'd love to hear
yes,
your version of what you see, because this is my
yes.
research.
You know, when you mention my ethnicity, I'm originally from the Caribbean, and I came here when I was 17 years old. I came to the Netherlands, and one of the things I see women from the Caribbean or from another country do when they um, come to the Netherlands or wherever they are, one of the lies is that their past or their culture is their truth, because um, they take everything with them, and then instead of setting themselves free to explore again the authenticity about themselves, they will hold on to everything they've been taught, because they are thinking that's the only truth I know, so that's the truth.
Right,
And that's one of the lies we tell ourselves, and um, we take the opportunity away to explore who we really are in the world. I don't think that being from the Caribbean has to be my identity as a woman,
right,
and being a woman doesn't have to be my identity as a person.
right.
So it's really about exploring who am I and what's my purpose in life, and what is it that I can add value to by being myself.
Beautiful. Such a unique answer. Thank you.
Ah,
There's a way for us to go beyond our culture, beyond our gender as a woman, and
sure.
find out who we really are as people, and that somehow your answer is connecting us with that, to say something about how as women we do need to break these myths and these perceptions
Yeah.
that we are limited by being a woman, by being a Caribbean woman, by being a Greek woman, by being
Yeah.
whatever. And we have to
Yeah.
find our value and our purpose. Yeah?
And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of my origin, with the good things and the bad things. I'm very proud. But it don't have to limit me to
Yes.
be who I supposed to be.
Beautiful. So there's something also there about breaking the limitations
Yes.
of what we get told we're supposed to be. Great. And now you see, we spoke about this just before coming on to the recording of this interview, the amount of women's groups all around the world for many years now. In fact, I even say that from centuries before, there have been so many different ways that women have been having this conversation about women's issues and women's rights and women's liberation. I'm almost bored of it. But it's an interesting phenomenon that is accelerating at the moment. And I wondered what you think about it. You mentioned something before regarding the seriousness of women focusing on their businesses and getting more serious about them. And I give you a chance again now to expand on that a little bit if you wanted to, and also tell us what would you add to this movement of women rising up, awakening in the areas of business, politics, decision making, and how relevant do you think it is? What do you think about it, and what would you add to it?
Okay. I think it's very, very interesting movement, and I think it's very needed
Mm-hmm.
that we keep talking about these topics, because we still have a lot of taboos that has to be broken. And one of the other lies that I see um, in this movement are like, we tend to compare ourselves to others. So it's good that we are talking about break free and be our own unique self. And somewhere along in that journey, we compare
Right.
with other successful women. Or if we started a business and we think it's a great idea until we pitch it to another women group, and then they think, oh, but that's not scalable. And then we have the self doubt again, and then we think, oh, maybe it's not a good idea. And I'm like, why? Don't compare yourself. If you want to be authentic, if you want to be unique, if we want to be the advocates for women to be their own self, we have to really, really broaden, broad that, how do you say that? To create more space for people to really explore who they are and to accept that and to respect that women can truly be who they are. We don't have to be compared with each other. We don't have to look alike.
Yeah.
I just have to be me. So it's good that we have that movement, but within that movement, I see another thing going on that I think, okay, it's good that we are advocates, that we are there for each other, but be there for the other without limiting them again. Like setting, you have to be like this, so you have to be so to become a successful woman. It's not
So
true.
important, so important, and a really nice touch to take us into that focus, because I think it's something that we maybe are carrying over from before, from the previous paradigm of still comparing and feeling insecure and all the
Yes.
doubt. And when you see
Yes.
it's hard and then you see others succeeding, it's a kind of maturity we have to learn to develop, isn't it? To be able to
Yes.
really respect
Yes.
each other for where each person is, and to be able to also uh, take ourselves out of this game of having to be like everybody else all over again. So
Yes.
important. I think I'm going to think more about that, and also if we have a chance to reflect back on the answers of all our guests, it's definitely a really important aspect for us to introduce in the circles that we're in with women, to give them the license to be who they really are and not have to be like everyone else, because I think it's in a way encouraging that sometimes.
Yes.
There's also now a chance, Margaret, for you to tell us a bit more about your expertise, your area, your passions, and what you are busy with now.
Okay. Now, mindset has always been something that I was passionate about, because I
Hear it.
was always wondering, yes, always wondering, how do people think the way they do, how I think the way I do, and what do you, why do we do the things that we do?
Yes.
And what are the beliefs and our core values? So mindset has always been very important to me,
Yes.
and I help women with that, to take the glasses off and see why they are getting the same result. And I help them very quickly with all my NLP tools that I've been using for 15 years, just to help them use the brilliance that they have in themselves, their brain, to achieve the things that they want to do, and to acknowledge that they are a powerful human being, worthwhile to tell the world what they want to do and who they are. And with all the teachings that I gathered and the wisdom and the knowledge, I still learning every day. But I wanted to put that in an academy. So this year I launched my own NLP academy, my Greatness Academy, with a slogan, choose to be great always. Because I think that everything that we do as a woman, as a man also, it's about choosing. We have a great advantage that like animals don't have. We can choose. We can think and reflect on things and choose. And when you don't make a choice, you let um, someone else take that choice for you. You let them take your power away. And by seeing that you can create choices, that you can choose, and that you can set your own course and follow it and learn from everything you call a mistake or a failure, but that is your right. I think you can empower people, and that's the thing I'm doing in the academy to empower people to use their own resources and be better, a better version of themselves.
Fantastic. And you launched it this year. And
Yes.
just tell us, where are you based?
I'm based in Eindhoven,
Okay.
in Brabant, in the Netherlands, and but we have another location in Dordrecht. And I also do a lot of things in companies when companies want to hire me and train their own personnel, and with a team building, and with executives who want to be a better leader,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that the leadership it's more than a title. It's more than just telling people what they have to do. A leader has to inspire people, but a leader has to um, be aware of her or his own beliefs and what that means for the organization, and how they can see the treasure and all those beautiful talents in the people they are leading, so they can create space again, so they can thrive together. And I do a lot of online coaching because I work internationally, and I have clients that we just have coaching session online through Skype or through Zoom. So I'm very active on the coaching aspect of it, online and offline.
Fantastic. Give us your 3 powerful words that we can remember you by. The words that either connect to each other or they are separate, and they tell us something about what's really important for you, Margaret.
What's really important for me, that will be to be authentic
Mm-hmm.
and to be compassionate,
Okay.
and 3 words. I have to choose now. Um, to
Compassion.
be a leader, compassion, and to be a leader, to set your own course. I really believe in that,
Yeah.
because you know yourself the best, so you can set the best course for yourself.
Fantastic.
Yes.
It's been a powerful, strong conversation with you about some really important distinctions, I think, about so many ways that we can get lost by
Yes.
comparing ourselves, by just going for the inspiration, being a bit too dreamy, by also listening too much to what other people say. And really,
Yes.
you brought us into a very nice clarity about a lot of things. So I want to thank you for that. And I stay with these 3 words, and they are reminders to everybody listening that there is a really important place for your authentic voice, your authenticity, something that
Yes.
Margaret Maduro is reminding us about, and that compassion is really important in life, to feel that for yourself, to feel it for others, and then to be a leader, set your course, your own way, your own rules, your own decisions about how much value you have and how much worth you have. And I just want to
Yes.
send out a great wish for your academy to go really well in Eindhoven and Dordrecht, and good luck
Thank you.
there. And I hope we get a chance to work together at some point, Margaret. You're
We'll do. We'll do.
inspiring lady, and I know you're a little far away from me, but maybe we find a way. Lovely chatting with you today, and thanks again for your time.
And thank you for this interview and taking the time.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.